Awesome. Welcome in everyone. May 27th, 2025, Midday Connect. We are excited to have Lihong Hicken here to present today. Pretty impressive background, humble lady as I was trying to brag on her and Lihong said, well, it was the right place, right time, and living in the land of opportunity. So love that. Lihong, we'll kick it over to you.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for the opportunity to connect with folks from all over the world, and especially people from Salt Lake City. I moved to Salt Lake City about 5 years ago, before COVID hit. But most people will ask, okay, but where do you really from? I said, oh, previously from Colorado. And then they're like, where are you really from? Oh, previously from California. But then they were like, where are you really from? Okay, you mean the where I was born. I was born in China. Grew up in a small, poor Chinese village. I think I was one of the first women in my village, my family, to go to college. So, and then my kind of experience going from my fate of working in a Chinese factory, 16 hours a day, 1 day off a month, which a lot of my friends are, childhood friends are living, and I feel like I got lucky. I escaped that village life. I come to US. I feel like my whole life is kind of real story of American dream, which is real. And then now let me share my screen. If you are a visual person, I understand it would be helpful to see the screen. So in the career side, I got quite lucky. I've been involved in four different startups in over a decade. So three of them I was lucky enough they got acquired, and one of them was IPO. So early startup, survival the fittest. And now I'm working in a company called They Said. This is an AI survey and interview company. So I mean, for a lot of folks, you who are living in Salt Lake City area, you probably know about a company called Quadtric. And when I first started my career, like as account executive, I work in a company called usertesting.com, which compete with Quadtric. And Quadtric always wins because you have the cheap hardworking labor that we don't have in California. So now I'm here. That's even the playground. So that's what we are doing here. And I'm actually really in the last decade, I've always been in a revenue side, customer feedback side, and now recently obsessed with AI. Talked to a lot of leaders in the AI space. I think people are dying for more use cases of AI to make their work better. So I'm just sharing some of the new learned AI practice with people in the go-to-market space, and today mostly on the AI win-loss analysis. Again, these are brand new, but sharing with everyone so that you get an idea of what we do. So it, going back to a little bit about what the problem we're trying to solve. If you look at the feedback, what customers say on the top is say, what customer do is on the bottom, and on the right hand side is the quant, like numbers, and then on the left hand side is qualitative, is the why information. So you can see top right surveys. This is where Qualtrics SurveyMonkey lives. And on the left is interview, meaning one-on-one conversations that give you the deeper insight. So I came from my background come from usertesting.com, which is the bottom right, which is the qualitative insight of what customers do. Now they said is on the top two. We want to give you the insight, the deep conversation of the why, but at the cost and skippability of the surveys, combine both. So that's kind of the core of what we're doing. So we call them AI survey interviews. And there's a lot of use cases for it. I wanted to point out use cases for sales and marketing, which is in the win-loss interview and competitive research field, because I feel like a lot of us are using AIs for like content creation or some very basic ones, but it's way more powerful than what we've seen. And then this is something that I actually personally try it, test it out, A/B testing, have a lot of experience on this. But it's climate, and not a lot of people in the industry know about this. And I think it's totally undertaking. And so that's why I'm gonna talk about what that means is AI win-loss analysis. I have a bunch of documents that reference this AI win-loss analysis that at the end of that, I will send you the information so you can study more about this. But I want to dive in quickly and kind of show you what is AI win-loss analysis. So I published this article in Forbes that give you the step-by-step guide and templates of what to do. And that's very like basically anyone who speak English and can use copy and paste, you can do that, right? So that's the framework of what we are doing. But first, I wanted to correct some kind of myth. So when I was talking to CROs and marketing folks, a lot of people say, yeah, win-loss analysis, understand why customers don't buy, understand why customers leave your team churned, like why? Okay, so they say, yeah, we do that. So how do you do that? They were like, well, we look at the Salesforce result. And then you remember if you're in revenue, you have like close loss reason, and then there's a drop down, pricing, champion leaving the company, whatever. Like that is not win-loss analysis, okay? That is the reason why is that data is entered by a salesperson. It's not directly from the customers, right? It's indirect information. So that's not. And then some people say, well, yeah, I talk to our sales team all the time. I ask them about this. That's not win-loss analysis because it's also indirect. Talking to salespeople is scratching the surface, right? Okay. And then people say, well, our marketing team does this survey. As soon as the deal closed last, they send out the survey and to ask why did they not buy. But that's also not win-loss analysis. Remember, when we talk about win-loss analysis, it means why did people don't buy? It's the why. Why is, let me just go back to this graph here. Why is the qualitative side. Survey is on the quant side. It means numbers, right? It means multiple choice. You don't know the deeper why are they not buying. So that's why I wanted to go back and tell people those three are not win-loss analysis. Okay, so because now that you do that, a lot of people will realize, oh, you know what? Our company don't do any win-loss analysis. And that's normal because win-loss analysis is actually pretty, traditionally, it's pretty difficult to do. And even though it has a lot of benefit, it costs a lot of money and a lot of companies don't have the resources to do it. So I can tell you how today without AI, people are doing that. So number one is that you hire an agency, win-loss analysis. I think there's a few companies in Salt Lake City that are doing great job, like Close, they have that. And what they do is you send them a list of deals that closed loss in the last quarter, or in the last year, whatever. They will reach out to them manually to schedule the interview, conduct the interview call, then compile all the data and give you a report of why people do it. That's what, because it's directly talking to the buyers and then ask them the right question and compile the result. Problem with that is it is expensive. It costs about 20K for 20 calls. It's about $1,000 per call. So it basically wipe out any company under 500 employees. Even companies like startup unicorns, 1,000 employees, they afford to do it once a year, once a quarter before their annual executive offsite, because the data is very helpful. What is better than directly from the buyer's mouth? Why they didn't buy? Why did they go to competitors? What is better in competitor than you? And so that data is valuable, but it's traditionally very difficult and expensive to get. And a lot of people in the SDR says like, we booked so many meetings, but the sales team didn't convert them. What a waste of time. Like imagine so much effort you put in booking these meetings and they didn't close. And why did they not close? And they'll make the same mistake over and over again. So that's kind of what I see in the pain point of like win-loss analysis. Now, I wanted to be a little bit more dynamic and now you know what is win-loss analysis. I'll tell you about what AI win-loss analysis, but I'll frame it in a simple way where people will ask me like these questions. Again, in the Q&A section, please put in your questions there. so I can answer that. Now, most people say, okay, how does AI win-loss analysis work? And what is the effort to set it up? Okay, so I actually discovered this accidentally when I was pitching to a revenue leader, and he was like, "Well, getting customer feedback is really good, but can you do AI win loss analysis?" Okay, I was like, "Well, interesting. Never heard about this. Tell me more." He was like, "Okay, so your so I'm not trying to brag about this. That he was like, your tool will be able to understand the deep insight of why, but you also have the easy simplicity of getting them a link and do that. So it's actually really easy to set up. To set up one-time effort where you for the entire year, it takes less than an hour to set up. So that's kind of the framework. And how it works is you use like a tool called, they say AI interview tool. You create the survey questions you want, and then get a link, and then use a link to set up in your CRM automation. So there's a couple ways you can do that. You could do once a month, send automatic email to every single deal close loss with a link and offer the incentive to give you the real feedback. Or you could do it more real time. It's like every time when a business is new business or existing business and the deal status is close lost. Of course, you can do close won, all that stuff, but most people care about close lost, right? So then the automation, I think people in the rev op will probably know how much effort it would take, is as soon as the deal status is close lost, maybe you wait a day or two and then send them an email, and then wait 3 days, send them reminders to complete that with incentive. So that way, the idea is you turn this one time a year project into an ongoing feedback collection to help your team to improve their the feedback loop from the buyers. So that's, and I actually don't know how much exactly from the buyer, from the rev op, like how much time it takes to set up. But my guess is about an hour, right? And that's it. It's super easy to get it set it up. Okay, does anyone have more questions? Okay, now if you guys want to see how it is done, I'm happy to do screen share and show you that. But we let's figure out more questions first here. Okay. And people ask like, okay, AI win-loss analysis, where in the sales cycle it is most effective? Okay, this depends. So what we typically do is, I have done, this is from my experience of couple sample sizes. And if you guys done yours, happy to listen to your experience. What I found is a lot of times when people say deal close loss, they in fact already closed loss long time ago. They say, okay, give me a list of deals that closed loss 3 months ago, last year or last quarter. In fact, those people were closed loss more than 6 months, but just the sales rep didn't put it in there. What I found is if you do the automation method I have, like as soon as a deal is closed loss, wait a day and send them the win-loss email. What I found is 50% of the deal that you think is dead is not dead. They tell you like, oh, I haven't made a decision not to choose you yet because I'm blocked on this. So they just got stuck. It will be really helpful for executive to see it and give the sales rep help to move through this process. So I would say it's like as soon as deal is stuck and the deal recently closed loss, those are the times I found that you get most immediate benefit from my experience. Okay. So again, put in your questions in here. Is it most effective in specific markets and product pricing? So traditionally, win-loss analysis, because it's difficult and expensive to get, you only do it in like big enterprise deals that 50K, 100K, or 25K, that kind of things. But because AI win-loss analysis has brought down the cost and efficiency down to 5% of previously, so you could actually use it in more product than you think. even B2C products that you can get the feedback on that. So that's a benefit. It's like the AI win-loss analysis. It's not like the AI make decision for you. The humans still drive the strategy. Is the AI can scale it at a low cost. You can get more of it. So I think most valuable thing I found is like if you do this immediately, like you know, feedback you get as soon as the deal close loss, you might immediately within the first month save half the deal that sets dead, but not really dead. But the more value is if you do it more than 6 months, you started to see a trend. I call it like a secret unfair advantage to your competitors. If you are the one be able to see the trends and know what you have, what your competitors have, you have a way better understanding of the target audience and market. You can actually configure your messaging with your client's exact words and sentence. It's nothing more empowering than that. And I would say sometimes, oh, okay, I see there's a bunch of people have questions here, so I'm gonna just jump in to do that. So, Tiak asked, how often should I be running win-loss analysis? Once a month, every deal? Okay, that's a great question. I think you should do it every single deal. And once a month is actually close enough. If you can, I think it's the same effort to do once a month or every single deal when it happens. But you might not have the time to review the results one by one, but you might want to review results once a month. The sooner you do it, the memory of the buyer is more fresh. So it's better. And the incentive you pay them will be less because they're more willing. They're still in the zone. Next question. Angie said, do you share results with investors? Very interesting. I don't know if I personally, if I'm comfortable sharing the result with investors, because it's not like the NPS question is the fluff and whatever. It has too much truth. Too much truth. Sometimes the result is very brutally honest because the buyers are not talking to a human, they're talking to an AI. So they're more, I would say, brutally honest. So sometimes I feel like when the result come back, I had to sit down to read the results because it's like, okay, this is a bit too much for me. Sometimes it's like, so I personally am not comfortable sharing with that unless like I've already taken action to address the reason. Then okay, and then I'll tell the investor, sure, we have this problem, we take the action, but I wouldn't share the result directly with the investor without taking action, right? It's very actionable and oftentimes very brutal. Calvin said, how do you produce the questions that contain within the closed loss survey into link? Okay, so this is actually really easy question set. In this document, I actually have the question template. So what you do is you just copy paste this question and then go to theysaid.io. This is our tool. You can sign up a free account. Doesn't matter. Most important is when you sign up the account, it asks you your company's website. That is the method to train your AI. And what you do is you just copy paste what you wanted to do in this AI creator, and it will draft the interview question for you. So that's really easy. Like I said, you don't need to learn how to type English, just write that. Okay, so you can see here, I have what are the main reasons you decide not to go with the product, how important it is. So you can see here, the main difference here is the AI will ask follow-up questions to dive into the why, on the surface, and you can decide one or two. For me, the main reason is important, so I do the two, but there's also other ones you have. Typically, what I would do is you will copy paste the questions you have with me in a spreadsheet, talk to your executive because product team might want to ask a product question, marketing team might want to ask pricing question, sales might want to ask question. Once everyone agrees, just copy what you wanted into the AI prompt and it will create a survey question. And then what you do is as a rev op person, you just copy paste this link. Or if you use, let's say, Hotspot, Salesforce, copy your link and put it in your email template and launch this through automation. So then you're done. So set it and forget about it. Okay. Okay, let me keep doing it. Is it a wrong time to do win-loss analysis? I mean, win-loss analysis is to figure out why people are not buying or not buying yet. So I would say the wrong time is like if your sales rep is already working with the customer, then there's no need to do that. But if they're dead or silent or not talking or ghosted, then do it. So don't do it when they're still engaged with you. Do it when they are not engaging with you. Now, one benefit of win-loss analysis is that normal salespeople will usually have one or two main contacts. Win-loss analysis allow you to do multi-threading. So like you might have people that you shadow decision makers that you are not able to reach out to. They might have a strong decision power. So if you are able to reach them out with this link, you get more like 360-degree view of like what is really happening on the deal. So I give you an example. One time I have a customer, the reason of the deal loss is like they tell me in the thing, which I had to, oh my God, I had to sit down and read this. Over 10 years being a CRO, I thought like, okay, a normal closed law deal is like champion leaving the company. So like you just fill in champion leaving company, you don't think about it. And then for the first time, I see the underlying hood of the reasoning behind it. So this person's like, oh, we checked with your product, everything checked the box, price is good, the team is really good. But the person, our consultant who's in charge of evaluating this tool, kind of bail at the last minute. So we have to scramble, find another consultant. This consultant comes with their own vendor, which we don't like, but the only way to work with them is go with the vendor. And we asked what would have saved the deal is if this other new consultant was also offering your company's tool as a partnership, we will definitely offer you. So this is something like, oh my God, like I would, as CIO, I will be like, maybe expand partnership. So more vendors will offer our tool as well. It's not a sales problem. It's like a more bigger go-to-market problem that I never knew exist. You never know what you don't know what you don't know, which is like, that's why sometimes like, I had to sit down and read these results because you discover too much dirt. But then sometimes I feel like, I wish I knew it. How do I not see it? I miss it so much. Okay, that was just sorry about this. Okay, so let's see Tyler's question. Have you found any predictive information or metric from AI in a sales funnel that can provide some information or predictors about leads and their likelihood of winning or losing deals in a funnel? What software tool do you use in these cases? Um, so it's the predictive information about whether a deal will close or not is not really from the tool or whatever. It's just all common sense as a sales rep. What I found is if a company provide a free trial or free valuation, the people who didn't complete it or didn't even try it, didn't take up the offer, they almost never close one. Uh, of course, there will be like very few percentage of people who try it and didn't like it. That is interesting. That we would figure out what is the loophole in the product. The product team really want to know about it. So it's not as complicated as you think is a tool or feature. It's more like, oh, okay, there's not a fit. The customer believe you are not gonna be delivering value. That's therefore they wouldn't even try it. So the problem is on the messaging or maybe on the sales enablement to address objection handling. That you can see like what is the problem when a deal loses. There's never just one. You need to know which department, which customer experience part caused the problem. Without knowing it, it's kind of a self-banning or guessing work. So that's what I would say is like really understand why. Okay, here we go. What is a good target response rate for those type of surveys? Okay, that's a great question, Spencer. So survey question, I I've been in the feedback industry for a long time. So the normal NPS response rate is somewhere between 1% to 4%. And then so the response rate on the win-loss analysis interviews is slightly longer because it also have like not just like filling out numbers and stuff. You also had to kind of back and forth telling you why. Uh, what I found is it's important to keep your interview about 5 minutes long, and then usually that contains about 10 questions, and then with one follow-up, which means 20. That can be done in 5 minutes because especially using voice is really quick. The response rate, the lowest I've seen is 10%. This is because deals that closed lost a year ago. they already forgot who you are. The incentive is low, $25 for 5 minutes of their time. What I found is that if the deal is immediately closed lost, and then the sales rep say, I'm sorry, you tell me, like, sometimes they tell you like, I'm sorry, I'm not moving forward with you. And then I'll say, oh, really appreciate you telling me this. Could you answer this 3 minutes, 5 minutes survey or interview? We'll give you $25 discount. If you do this right away, the response rate I see personally myself is over 80%. But if you are doing it like indirect, let's say a month later, whatever, what I typically see is somewhere between 20 to 35% of people will respond. So it depends on the incentive, how soon you ask the question, and how long that question lasts. Okay, Calvin asked, what incentive have you seen as effective in getting people to answer the survey? So I usually start with 25 if the fresh relationship is good. And then if you don't mind getting about 10 to 15% of response rate. If you want 3 times more than that, double the incentive to $50 per response. And that usually I see the triple the response of what you have for $25. Okay. All right, another question. I think I'm catching up with the last question. Would be awesome to see how this works for products that are super niche. What do you mean product that's super niche? Like only for, I think this actually works best with a product that's super niche, because when you have a super niche product, the difficulty is talking to the right people who are benefiting for it. Who is more qualified to the people who talk to your sales team or involved in your sales process. So if you are with a product in a super niche, this is as good as it get, right? So like, one thing I'll give you an example. So one of our customer who their product is the rare disease market research. Like their solution cures rare disease. So normally, in order to do this, they will have to hire agency. The agency need to find someone who knows about your industry. That take a few months to find that experts. Then you had to recruit the parents of these rare disease kids. Then you had to do the survey questions. Then you do all that and combine it. It take about 4 to 6 months to do this. Now, if you use the AI method, well, you don't need to hire this expert and cost 3 months to do this, let alone cost. The AI will learn about everything about this rare disease. If you feed them information, it can be trained within minutes, right? Then the AI will help you come up with the right question, and you can conduct it half through AI, half through in person or interview, and you automatically conduct the result together. So you turn a 4 to 6 month project into a 2 week project. It's so the thing is, the person who's driving these is still the same strategy person. It just AI just allow the strategy and scale to be able to do it at scale and cost efficient. So I would say it's nothing new. It's still the basic business strategy. It's just now that because it's more affordable and it's more scale, companies, smaller companies especially, are able to afford it today. So I would say in startup companies usually never do win-loss analysis because they will say, well, our volume is low enough. I don't have enough money to do it, and all that stuff. But I would say startup companies who are looking for product market fit need it even more than larger companies. So I would tell you, like, people might ask, like, okay, so let's go back to this question and a list of questions here. Like, is it more valuable for large business or SMB? So what I see here is for large business, they already have some kind of product market fit. They're trying to improve like sales process. They try to find content to do sales enablement training for the sales team. They want to retweak finding messaging on that. So there's like a fine tuning of their go-to market. But for a startup, if you lost a deal, this founder is scratching their head. It's like, is it because the product? Is it because the pricing? Is it because sales team don't do a good job? Or is it because competitor? You have no fucking clue. And without concrete data, you just basically pointing fingers like, what's going on, why. So knowing the why is more important than anything. I think in today's AI world, product technology is becoming a commodity. What really differentiate people is like how deeply do you understand the buyers and how deeply do you understand the market and play your cards right. So that's why I feel like, okay, for the first time, startups are able to afford win-loss analysis. And before, any company under 500 employees can't. Honestly, just sorry. This is this is a too costly, even though it's valuable. But now you can, and I hope more and more companies, especially startups, know about this and use it as your secret advantage to beat your competitions. Cool. I think I hit up most of the question here. Now, if you have any specific questions and you are not mm, you're too shy to share with the public, just connect me on LinkedIn. Happy to answer these in private and tell you what uh and help you with your specific company needs.
It's great. Thanks, Lihong. This is
Yeah.
awesome. I learned a lot. And so glad that you could be on today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Well, everyone, have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you here next week.
Thanks, Lee Hong.
Thank you.